Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
This is Chelsea Clark from L&W Insurance Agency, and we are here for Ask an Agent. And again, I know you miss us when we're not here on every other Friday, but we are back, and actually an hour early because we needed to. So I just wanted to reach out and talk to everybody today about, well, one, let me tell you that we love having input from you all. It helps us kind of inform what we get to talk about. So always feel free to send us in any questions or thoughts that you have so that we know what you all want to hear about. But today we're going to tackle a topic which actually most of you are probably familiar with on a certain level: auto insurance. We all have autos. They get us from point A to point B, and insuring ourselves and the vehicles is all just kind of part of life. So we're pretty familiar with the idea of coverages on our standard personal auto policies. But when you take that into business auto and commercial auto, it gets much more complicated. There are so many more factors that really need to be considered. And because it becomes so complicated, you really need experts to help walk you through what that looks like. And luckily today we have Jeff Eanes with us, who will be able to help answer some questions about commercial auto. And essentially, Jeff has been here with us for quite a while, and he is an absolute rock star because he is so thorough. He takes the time to really assess all of the risks that his clients have and build packages that are going to help protect their assets, and he picks through them to make sure it's the absolute best. So he is an asset to us and an asset to all of his clients.
Thank you for your kind words.
Of course. But he pretty much tackles any commercial problem or scenario that comes up, but we're going to keep him focused today just to commercial autos. So to jump in and try and keep it kind of simple, what really is the difference between a personal vehicle and a commercial vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference between a personal vehicle and a business vehicle, the business vehicles could be a large truck, it could be an SUV, it could be a passenger vehicle, it could be a trailer. It's going to be anything that's going to be used in the business practice on a daily basis.
So it's not just 18-wheelers.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It could be a private passenger vehicle. On the private personal insurance, the biggest difference between personal and commercial, the personal insurance is going to have a lot lower limits. The commercial insurance is going to have higher limits, usually around $1 million.
Oh, okay. So that's a lot more than the average person is used to seeing. So what are some of the common coverages that a business owner really needs to think about when they're diving into these policies that would go beyond what the average person with their personal would think about?
Yeah. So the coverages that the business owner is going to look for is going to be the auto liability is going to be the big thing. But the other one is uninsured motorist coverage. So if they're hit by somebody that doesn't have insurance, or even underinsured where they don't have enough insurance, so the business owner is going to want to make sure that they have those coverages there, and also high enough limits to protect them, and also personal injury protection, which is medical cost coverage for anybody that's in the vehicle, and then lastly would be non-owned auto insurance. Which is a pretty important coverage also. So
what is non-owned auto insurance? Because you definitely don't ever hear about that or you occasionally, but it's definitely more commercial related.
Yeah, so non-owned auto would be if an employee is in their personal vehicle and they're running a business errand, say they're going to the bank for their manager, and they get into an accident while driving their personal vehicle. The non-owned auto policy is going to kick in to protect the business, because the business can be liable for the accident that occurred in the employee in the personal vehicle. So
many different facets you have to worry about. So you had said earlier $1 million. Is that a pretty standard limit that you see on commercial? Does it go higher?
Yeah. So I mean, our standard is to offer $1 million, which 99% of our clients are going to have $1 million. But seeing other agents and other insurance companies, they may only have $100,000 or $500,000, which we're always going to strongly push for $1 million. So $1 million of liability, $1 million of uninsured or underinsured motorists, personal injury protection, $300,000. Those are all things that we're going to push for the highest limits. Yeah. Just to protect our client is a big thing.
Well, and the assets. I think once you have a business and you start tapping into all of those parts of it, the assets will add up quickly. And if you're only carrying $100,000 or $300,000 on a business policy, I feel like that really leaves you exposed.
Oh yeah, you could lose it real quick if there's a bad accident. So that's the biggest thing.
So $1 million is the standard. Can you use? I know sometimes in personal you can add an umbrella over top of all of your personal assets. Are there umbrellas for commercial as well?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest things that when we meet with with our clients is to push for them to get umbrellas. If there's a claim where there's a severe injury, the claim is more than likely going to be more than $1 million. So then an umbrella policy is going to kick in to protect the business owner and the business from the additional amounts that could be due on the claim. So if it's a $3 million claim and they have the $1 million of auto liability, they're going to need an umbrella to protect them for the additional amounts. If not, they're going to be on the hook for that amount, which means selling off assets. But you can avoid that by purchasing an umbrella policy, which we always strongly recommend.
Yeah, so that the umbrellas really close that gap between what the policy is and what you may have to run into. And we could probably do a whole session on umbrellas. In fact, let me tick that off. We'll do that next. That's coming next up. Time, right? Yeah, exactly. But obviously it's still relevant here. So how about optional coverages? Is there anything that isn't included on a standard business auto policy, but you say to your clients, yes, this is a necessity, you should consider this?
Kind of going back to the non-owned auto, I mean, that's not standard, and that's something I always push for, just knowing the exposure. If they have an employee that is doing any type of business there and they have an exposure there. So we're always pushing that, and then rental reimbursement, towing, stuff like that. Okay,
all right. So obviously the coverages are what really drives, pun intended, drives the premium, but it drives the premiums up, and that's where a lot of it is derived from. But what other factors does a business owner need to take into consideration as far as where their premium is being generated from?
Yeah, the premium is going to be determined based upon the prior claims history. So if the insured had claims with the prior insurance companies, that's going to extremely affect the premium. Second is the drivers that are on the driver's list. If they have motor vehicle accidents or violations, that's going to affect the premium. And then lastly, if they have a culture of safety, and we can show that they have the culture of safety maybe through safety manuals, or they do weekly or monthly safety meetings, that's going to help affect the premium on a positive basis.
Oh, that's a big deal, and I never thought about the fact that having that culture of safety or risk management type practices in place can really help affect the rates when you're kind of pushing that out with your employees who are operating these vehicles on your behalf. So any other suggestions that you have for anybody who's looking for business auto to keep the rates down, or anything else they should be considering from your lens?
I mean, the big thing would be just trying to avoid claims, running safe vehicles, having a culture of safety, safety manuals, having risk management. We have our own internal risk manager who can come in and help business owners out with running safe work environments. That's going to be the big things. And then hiring drivers that have clean records.
Oh, well, so that's a big one. And that's probably difficult sometimes, but it's definitely a consideration, something that you need to think about. And I would tend to say that you also need to have a good agent who can tell you all of those things and help walk you through that process. That way you know that you feel comfortable that all rocks have been unturned when you're getting these policies in place that are going to protect your biggest asset, which is your business and your livelihood. So we are thankful that we have agents like Jeff who are as thorough as that and will help you turn those rocks over and get all the information and the protection as possible. So thank you.
No, thank you.
And everyone have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in.
You.
Bye.